Woe to you of earth and sea.
Welcome to Satan is My Superhero, a show for atheists, scoffers, heathens, and unbelievers. I'm your host, Judas Falling. In this episode, we look into some fun satanic hoaxes. We still live in the shadow of the satanic panic of the 1980s and under the spectre of Qanon today. But those hoaxes have cost people their lives, and that's not fun. I thought in this episode we would look at some of the less famous stories where the devil is to blame.
I was just telling Aristotle the other day, I get blamed for everything. No one ever gives me credit for the things I'm actually responsible for, like name-dropping. I invented that.
In May 1973, 13 sites associated with satanic rituals were discovered on the Scandinavian island of Anholt, which I'm sure must have resulted in a tourist boom.
Welcome to Sven's Satanic Safari Tours of Anholt Island. I'm your satanic tour guide, Sven. Please remember, for your own safety and that of other visitors, do not feed the Satanists. If we see any.
These sites turned out to be fake.
What am I going to do with all of these Sven's Satanic Safari tote bags?
But the mystery of who created these fake satanic sites and why was not solved. Then coins began appearing which had depictions of the devil on them and the words
Civitas Diaboli, which translates to the devil's citizenship,
on one side, and on the other
13 Maj Anholt 1973, which translates to 13 May. Anholt 1973.
These coins were found along with scraps of writings related to the fake Anholt satanic cult all over Denmark for years afterwards. It wasn't until 2013 when Danish newspaper Politiken investigated the events that it was finally resolved. A clerk at the National Gallery of Denmark, Knud Langkow, was found to be responsible. 73-year-old Langkow had passed away in 2004, but his niece came clean with the story, which was confirmed by co-conspirators and coin experts Jørgen, Sømod and Jensen, who had minted the coins for Langkow.
Now I know what you're thinking. A museum clerk and 2 coin collectors. The stuff those guys got up to would have made Motley Crue blush. Well, you'd be wrong. They were actually very boring.
According to Langkow's niece Lenny,
he did it to make fun of the bourgeoisie and to get people out of their chairs and to wander.
As of 2018, 370 of these coins have been found, the last 2 turning up during renovations at Bath Abbey in the UK.
How much for the Jesus bobblehead?
£4.
I've only got these devil coins. Will you accept them?
This is a gift shop attached to one of the most historic and holy Christian places of worship in all of Europe. Of course we'll take your Satan money.
Needless to say, these limited edition coins are now becoming collector's items. Some appearing at auction houses as recently as 2020. I couldn't find how much they actually sold for, but I like to think it was
$666 billion.
Unlikely.
In the late 80s, some Christian newsletters in Scandinavia published a story about a very deep hole bored by scientists in Siberia. Extreme temperatures were recorded at the bottom of it, and allegedly a microphone was lowered down which then recorded tortured wailing and screaming of the damned.
The accommodations here are unbearable. They closed the breakfast buffet at 10:30.
While later versions of the story will attribute its beginnings to newspapers and scientific journals, no journalists or scientists were ever involved in the birth of this story.
And we all know what that means.
Somehow this urban legend found its way to the US, where it was run by former topic of this show, the blasphemous, money-grabbing Trinity Broadcasting Network.
What are we learning today, Babushka? Today, we're gonna learn all about numbers. First of all, get Mommy's credit card and call the number on the screen.
TBN ran a piece they called
Scientists Discover Hell.
Oh, sure. This time they believed the science.
TBN were duped twice on this fantasy fiction. First when they broadcast the original story, and then again by an annoyed Norwegian schoolteacher, Åge Rendalen, who performed what we would call these days a White Hat Hoax. He basically added more details to the original story just to prove how gullible TBN were. He then cut out an article in a Norwegian newspaper not related to the story at all and sent it to TBN with his own translation. And it worked. They ran his second ridiculously embellished story claiming it was finally scientific proof of the existence of hell.
We interrupt regular programming with our breaking story from Christ Incorporated Eyewitness News.
Once again, atheist communist scientists have opened a gateway to the underworld. The definitely not-for-profit organisation Christians Against Satan Holes are currently plugging the hole with $100 bills. But we need a lot more money. I urge every Christian who doesn't want their children exposed to new ideas to dig deep and send all the money you have. I understand Christians Against Satan Holes is a lot to fit on a cheque, so just use their acronym CASH.
Christians Against Satan Holes is supported by Christ Incorporated. Christ Incorporated is a subsidiary of Yahweh International. Stay stupid and keep hating.
Stay stupid and keep hating.
There really is a Russian deep-bore hole, the Kola Super Deep Borehole. It's not actually in Siberia, but we'll let that one go. It does go down 12 kilometres into the Earth's crust. They made many discoveries, including fossilised plankton at a depth of 6 kilometres, which is a scientific part of the story young Earth creationists choose to ignore.
Who's to say those plankton weren't burrowing their own way to Hades? And why wouldn't they? We have a strict no whales policy, which I don't really understand, but Jordan Peterson insisted on it.
The temperatures down there are around 180 degrees Celsius. Obviously, normal electronic devices do not work well at 180 degrees Celsius, and as far as I could tell, no actual audio recordings have ever been made at that depth.
Hi, I'd like to purchase 12,000 meters of microphone cable.
Wow, your lead singer must really hate the rest of the band.
I read some interesting stuff from a Dutch multimedia artist, Lottie Given, who in 2014 wanted to record the sounds of the Earth's interior for an installation. Given had to settle for a recording from a device called a geophone, which measures ground movement and then uses software to turn that signal into something a human can hear.
Welcome to hell. Ambient temperature is 2,000 degrees Celsius. You won't need a jumper.
I had a listen and agree with Given's own assessment. The resulting audio sounds like rolling thunder, which to me can only mean one of two things. Bon Scott was in direct contact with Brian Johnson from Beyond the Grave when AC/DC wrote the song Hell's Bells with the line,
"I'm rolling thunder, pouring rain."
Or that is actually the sound you would expect to get when you sonify a geophone recording.
Yes, I can see it must be very hard to say which one of those options is the most plausible.
Now, despite not having the capability to record any audio from the bottom of the Kola Super Deep Borehole, back near the turn of the millennium, the previously reported recording finally surfaced and found its way to the preeminent purveyor of particularly peculiar potent portents, the perfectly plausible prince of the paranormal, AM talk radio host Art Bell.
Welcome to Coast, where our marketing research is shown anyone still listening to AM radio in this day and age is a socially maladjusted kook or crank.
And despite the whole story having been debunked and proven to be a hoax a decade earlier, Bell still played the recording to his audience with the disclaimer the audience should come to their own conclusion.
Which I'm sure they did.
Anyone still listening to AM radio in this day and age is a socially maladjusted kook or crank.
The recording made long after the original hoax is around on the interwebs if you want to hear it. Trust me, I know enough about audio to say without any hesitation there is nothing about it that suggests it's not just a bunch of different voices looped and played at various speeds, then all mixed together in a cacophony. I'm not going to hurt your ears with it here, but I thought I might make my own interpretation of what eternal damnation would sound like for me.
Welcome to Coast, where our marketing research is shown anyone still listening.
We've all heard of backmasking in popular music. I've mentioned it on this show before. There are a slew of recording artists that have been accused of encrypting backwards satanic messages in their songs over the years. I'm not saying no one's ever tried it, but as discussed in the Paul and Jan Crouch Sex, Lies and Videotape episode,
there is no part of the human brain that translates things backwards.
Rather than running through a far too long for one episode list of them, I thought I would pick out the most ridiculous and fun example.
Is it the Cannibal Corpse song, A Skull Full of Maggots?
No.
Is it the Mayhem song, Worthless Abominations Destroyed?
No, last guess.
Is it the Meshuggah song, Break Those Bones Whose Sinews Gave It Motion?
No, it's Justin Bieber.
That was going to be my next guess.
That's right. When you play Bieber's Baby backwards, you can hear this.
Acknowledge my Lord. Lord, he's here. I'm the evil one. Satanic New World. New World. New World. I want it. Let me in. Let me in. Yay, war. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. Yay, war.
I have played the track backwards. I was a teenager in the 80s. I play everything backwards. Playing Bieber backwards, I discovered two things that shocked me. Number one, backwards, it's actually quite enjoyable.
Oh, now you're just being mean. Don't pay any attention to him, Justin. He's jealous.
Number two, you can actually hear those words if you have them written down in front of you and are reading along at the right time. Of course, having the preconception of what you're going to hear is the trick of the entire backmasking phenomena. As much as I'd love Bieber's Baby being backmasked by brain-bending bangers beatifying Beelzebub, it's just not.
That's 2 alliterations in 2 minutes. Are you having an aneurysm?
I thought we might do a little scientific experiment and restore Bieber's untarnished reputation once and for all. I will now play you a song from my band, The Genuine Hoots of Joy, backwards. Have a listen and see if you can hear the Reverend singing any words you can recognise. Did you understand any of the words?
Probably not.
Now let's try again, but this time I'll tell you what to listen for. Hopefully you will hear the Reverend sing, ooh, giving her one, ooh, giving her one. If you did make out the words I primed you with, it's not because they were actually there. Here is that part of the track played the way it was recorded. You may even recognise it.
I wanna be cool. I wanna be cool.
Hopefully that worked, and you can now see how important it is to prime your audience when trying to convince people backmasking is a real thing. I'm going to start listening to Hillsong stuff backwards and see what I can find.
It's all about the money.
Speaking of money-grubbing dirtbags, it's time to play the ad.
Let's go, boy! I'm going to take a short break from the show right now to talk about my sponsors and Patreon. I don't currently have sponsors or Patreon, but if you'd like to support the show, you can do that by buying my novel. It's called Chaos Machine by Judas Fawley. It's available through Amazon. You don't need a Kindle to read it. Almost any digital device will do. Don't forget, Chaos Machine by Judas Fawley. Now, back to the show. In 2017, comic book creator Cody Fredrickson took a photo of a standard Christmas display set up at his local shopping mall in Massachusetts. He then manipulated the photo to say Satan instead of Santa and posted it on Twitter with the quote,
I've long suspected that God abandoned this mall. Apparently whoever decorated this year feels the same way.
The tweet went viral. The local news reported on it, and the general manager of the shopping mall, Mike Connell, had to release a statement saying,
This messaging would never be allowed on a Simon Mall or a Simon Santa set.
To his credit, Cody admitted what he had done, immediately tweeting,
So, at what point do I tell everyone that I photoshopped that picture?
Hilariously, Cody then followed this up with a new photo of the Christmas display, this time replacing Satan with Pepsi, and stated,
I'm sorry to everyone who was fooled by my dumb little joke.
While I would not describe this as a hoax, I did want to include it in this episode because it was fun. The Boston Magazine, where I found the story, clearly loved it and made numerous jokes and puns in their reporting. And at the end of the day, no one got hurt or ripped off. There was no malicious intent to trick people. At worst, some people might have jumped into their cars and drove down to the mall to see the Satan blocks.
Dad, you said we were going to see Satan. It's just a boring old Santa.
I reached out to Cody for comment and he replied,
I actually worked at that mall when I made the post. I do a lot of digital art and stuff like that for fun, so I just thought it'd be a silly little thing to try. I definitely didn't expect any reaction. The only reason it ended up getting any traction is because I forgot to turn off my location sharing so everyone from the area ended up seeing it. I wasn't trying to trick anyone though, I was just trying to make a funny post.
I also asked Cody if he got any blowback at the time.
I didn't end up getting in any trouble or anything, because it ended up taking a life of its own pretty quickly. It got reposted by some sports sites and even a pro basketball player, all thinking it's real.
Was it Kyrie Irvine? You know, I have sold him the Brooklyn Bridge. Twice.
I was approached about it once. I think I was actually the manager of the store at the time, and so the mall manager knew who I was. She came to the store a couple days after and looked at me and said, "So you're my Satan guy?" And that was pretty much it.
Really? The gall of the woman. I decide who's a Satan guy. Okay, it was pretty funny. He can be a Satan guy.
And finally, Cody told me,
my name isn't even attached to it anymore. It's just out there in the ether. Now one of my favourite parts of every holiday season is waiting to see it pop up again.
Oh, I love a holiday tradition. Every Christmas, I roast nuts on an open fire.
I thought you were allergic to nuts.
What? Oh, yeah, I know. I see what you mean. I'll explain after the show.
If you want to see other posts from Cody, you can check him out on Twitter. His handle is @KodiakCountry, and there you'll find links to his comic art.
Howdy, it's the Reverend Steph here. Most of the music in this episode was supplied by the comedy disco punk band The Genuine Hoots of Joy. If you want to hear the songs in their entirety, check out Hoots of Joy on YouTube. You might recognise the lead singer. Okay, it's me.
In July 2020, signs with the United States Forest Service logo were found in the San Bernardino Mountains. The signs read,
"Attention campers, due to increased satanic cult activity in this area, camping is not advised until further notice. Several pets have been reportedly sacrificed in satanic rituals."
Some wag had printed the fake signs themselves and put them up in the park. If you ask me, pretty funny and harmless. Except for maybe wasting the time of the good folk at the Forest Service who had to make an official statement saying,
"There is no known threat of this type to visitors."
And our final badge goes to Jonathan for lighting the campfire this weekend using nothing but a match and lighter fluid.
Excuse me, Scoutmaster, are you sure that's all the badges? Isn't there one for animal sacrifice?
No, there's not. Why do you ask?
No reason. No one look behind my tent.
Just before we wrap up, I would like to thank Cody for his contribution to not only this episode, but the world of harmless fun jokes, and remind you to check him out on Twitter @KodiakCountry. While we're on the subject of shout-outs, you might like to check out the podcast Fables of Our Deconstruction, where the host Dylan is an ex-Christian and along with occasional contributors deconstructs systems of belief. Dylan's a very thoughtful guy and the show is filled with insight.
Unlike this show,
I think anyone who's had a journey out of faith can identify with Dylan's perspective. Check it out, Fables of Our Deconstruction, wherever you get podcasts. Now to wrap up. As I said at the beginning, the Satanic Panic and Qanon have created very real casualties and ruined innocent lives in the name of the devil. But Knud, Jørgen, Bent, Åge and Cody had nothing to gain from their practical jokes other than maybe to make some foolish people look foolish. They used Old Scratch to provide some harmless, humorous hijinks for the rest of us to enjoy. And just like his contemporaries, Santa Claus, Frodo Baggins and Spider-Man, the devil is meant to be enjoyed. And that's why Satan is my superhero. If you've enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, subscribe, you know the drill. But more importantly, please recommend this show to just one person. I mean literally one person. Choose that person well.
Welcome to Stan's Try and get the Swedish chef in my head.
Why do you think it's a blah 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 blah?
I do a lot of diddle...
I forgot how to say it.
I do a lot of diddle... Oh my god. Diddle-jule? Sorry.
Oh, I get it now. It's testicles.